You guys are absolutely insane. Not even 1 week goes by since I posted my previous video, and in just the last week, Bigstone actually exploded. This video will cover everything from all of the new components that have been added to anything else of note that has happened since I posted the last video. This is a good time to mention that if you don't know what Bigstone is, I would highly recommend that you go watch my previous video on the topic, as this video kind of hinges on the fact that you already understand what Bigstone is. Alright, let's just get right into it. These two components were posted just 24 hours after the original video was made by Spin for Team 4096. They're both pressure plates, this one that gives out a signal in all 4 directions when activated, and this one is a unique concept, being a directional pressure plate that can give out a signal in any one direction that you want. These are both original concepts compared to the lever that gives out only a signal in 2 directions and also gives out a continuous signal instead of being able to be activated on and off quickly. And if you do really want the pressure plates to give out a continuous signal, you can pretty easily just add a copper toggle to one of the outputs and then that will give out a continuous signal. Bit unrelated, but speaking of the copper toggle, I did actually see all of your comments saying this looks like the arrow for the output is pointing inwards. That was actually not intentional. In fact, originally, for my original design for the copper toggle, the output was actually separate from this center middle circle, but there was no way to tell which side was the output, so I just connected them, but never realized that that made it look like an arrow. But yeah, thanks for the feedback, and I'll definitely flip that around. Next, by Jaden, this is a clock component that when activated, a little button was even provided so I can easily turn it on, it'll start clocking and turning on and off, which is pretty useful in some cases. These 4 components right here might look a little bit familiar as the chain lamp and regular lamp that I made all the way over there if you watched the original video, but these are actually improved versions made by Mr. Nin of my original components with less delay and a better animation. I'll probably be using these a lot from now on. And Spin for Team makes a return once again with a 7-segment counter. It has a 7-segment display on the front, an input on the side, an input on the back, and then an output on this side, which gives a pulse when it switches back from 9 back to 0, meaning that you can actually stack multiple of these next to each other and make counters that go up past 1 digit. And here's an example of that. Over here you can see I've chained multiple of these counters together, and then when this counter reaches 9 and then tries to wrap back to 0, it'll give a pulse to this one, making this one switch to 70. Here it goes. And there you go, you can see, now it's at 70 and it's going to start counting from 70 and up, continuing. Now this next component is very interesting. It was made by Daxus1, hello, and it's a pulsing component that can be customized. Here it's set to give a short pulse on the rising edge and not the falling edge, but you can use this button over here to change it. Now it'll give an output on the falling edge and not the rising edge, and give another output, and it'll do it on both. Okay, this next component. It was made by Zolix. It's a 7-segment hex display, so doesn't just display digits, it displays 16-bit. And it's really interesting. If I look at the inside with look at this. It's so compact. There's no air in here. It's all redstone. I don't understand what any of this is. It's absolutely insane. How do you even troubleshoot? How do you even figure out when something is going wrong in here? It's completely maxed out in size. It's 16 by 16. It's insanely small. It's crazy. Yeah, it's actually insane. Now, I'd love to show that off properly, but to do that, I need some sort of component that can produce signal strengths, so that's where this lectern comes in. In my opinion, looks great. Whoever did that did a really good job. I made it. So you can use the pressure plates on either side to customize exactly which signal strength it gives out. And yes, this is all one component. This comparator looking thing is part of it. You can't separate them. They have to stay together. So if I clone this behind the hex display, And then if you give me a moment to do some free cam shenanigans to view this display. Here it's displaying a 0, but then if I activate it, you can see now it's going to display a 1. Do that again, it's a 2, and then you can see here we're at 9, but instead of wrapping back to 0, it's going to go up to A instead because it's hex, and it's going to go B, C, D, E, F, and then it's going to wrap back to 0. And then you'll see here finally if I give it another signal, now it'll wrap back to 0, which actually displays as blank, but that is in fact apparently customizable as well. If you give power to, well, this was bugged with Axiom, but if you give power to this target block over here, it'll display zeros, in fact only trailing zeros as blank, but if you don't give it power, it will display all zeros as a 0. Absolutely insane. It's a modular binary to decimal converter that is actually compatible with the hex displays that they also made. Here's an example of that. Once again, this is all modular. All I did was take this component, stack it out this way 3 times, stack it out this way a couple of times, and paste it. That's all I did. I didn't connect any wires together. That's all I did. I just pasted a couple of them in a grid like this. I can input binary over here on this side, and then out on this side, it'll give me the output in decimal, just like that. And if I go all the way over to this end and change one of these, and then go back over here, and then unpause the game, you can see it start to calculate it out in real time, and then on this display over here, it'll just show the new result. There's no default way in-game to do calculations in decimal. There's only redstone dust, which is binary, and comparators, which is hex. So you're taking a binary input, doing calculations in hex to get an output in decimal in a modular component that works super quickly. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, but enough about that, as much as it pains me. So this next component is by Tomatop. It's a fully functional, vanilla functional component that's supposed to be a comparator. It has the 2 modes that comparator has, the compare and subtract mode, has the inputs on the side for subtraction, and the input on the front for hex. And now this component is by Fits the Bits, and it's supposed to be a vertical adapter for Bigstone that can take inputs down here on the bottom and give them out 1 block up to make it easier to do vertical redstone. No, not redstone. What am I saying? Oh my god, no. Bigstone. Vertical Bigstone. And it can also take an input from the top and send it downwards. I momentarily showed off the TNT component in the intro, but I'm going to do a more full showcase of it now. It was made by Rockular1, and it does work fully functional. It does only work once, but that one time it does work, it works well. Unsurprisingly, I'm going to be showing this off slightly far away from everything else, because I would prefer to not blow them up. Alright, so if I give this an activation, it was bugged with Axiom. If I give it an activation, it does in fact work. I am not recording game sounds, but that was loud. So, that's all of the components. Well, at least that's all of the components in this world. Over in my Discord server, there are plenty of other cool and interesting components that I unfortunately just can't show all of them in this video, so if you want to see all of them for yourself, I'd recommend just joining the server and looking at all of them and checking them out for yourself. Some members of the Discord even went as far as making an entire website for Bigstone with all of the standard layouts shown, all of the different ports displayed, and all of the different projects that have been submitted shown over here. Some other people even made an entire Minecraft server where some people have been very hard at work. Just flying around here, there's just way too much stuff for me to go over everything, but just as on a flyby, you can see everything. There's been so much work going on here in just a couple of weeks. Disclaimer, I do not own either the website or the Minecraft server, and I do not have any control over what happens with them. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and feel free to check out all of these components in the Discord, or anything else like the website or the Minecraft server. Bye!